That sounds great.
I have no idea what that feels like.
I think it's the only reason I was able to survive like the 102 degrees that my room was in like year 2 of FNC production during the summer.
That's right.
Because I'd have to turn off my fan for like year 1 and 2 in the summer, and then it'd be like 102, and I'd be sweating bullets down my body or whatever.
What a
recording.
crazy time period that was.
Brutal.
It was awful.
Yeah.
I can't believe I ever
weird.
did that.
It's weird to think that, like, this is the 3rd year of the show, but like, I've been alive more decades than we've been doing this show years, but it still feels like such a distinct and, like, strong time period in my life.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the FNC times, you know?
Yeah.
It is a long time to produce a show like this. Even just the amount that we've done, and there's so much more to come. It's kind of wild. It's kind of wild how that feels, just to manage to consistently roll a show like this for that long. Which we'll be talking about that a bunch. Today. Hello, and welcome to episode 58 of the Foam News Collective podcast. I'm KT. I'm here with the whole crew plus. We got Vile, we got Grimz, we also have Cats. And Cats is in this funny space of simultaneously being sort of a guest, but also a team member, pseudo-host.
Yeah.
How y'all doing?
Good.
Doing good. I'm eating some cookies. My dog's with me, and I'm hanging out.
Yeah.
Just chilling.
Sweet. So, this is an unusual and auspicious episode of the Foam News Collective podcast. And I'm just going to get right to it because I don't actually want to dwell on this too much. And we're not actually talking about it in the show, and it's not an effort to like hide it or anything, but I am going to be stepping back from my role as producer of the show, and stepping away from the show a little further. I don't think I'm disappearing completely. I'll probably be around and appearing periodically, but I'm just having to make some decisions about how I'm managing my time for my family and for my other creative endeavors and for work and what have you. But I'm excited for an opportunity to sort of celebrate where I think the show is going with the rest of the team here, and super importantly in this episode, because we had Cats booked as the guest before that decision was made. I really want a chance to sort of introduce our audience to Cats, because the role you play is very important to where the show is right now, and where the show is going in the future. And I don't know why I'm placing that in a time. It's always important to the show, and has made it possible, frankly, over the time that you've been doing it. But it's also invisible if you're not watching the credits, and if you're not like a few of our viewers are, and catching on to your unique approach to editing the show and the new things that you've introduced to it. So I want to make sure that we sort of show that to the world a little bit more as we move forward. So that's why I'm really glad to have you on the podcast today.
Glad to be here.
Heck yeah. Why don't we... So I want to, before we even get into that, and we're going to go through, and I want to get your history in the hobby and all this stuff that we often get from folks. But we've been sort of like, actually we all four of us were in a Discord call the other day watching old episodes for the first time in a long time.
Mm-hmm. Oh my God. There was something
Yeah,
people watch
it's
slightly news.
It's wild that, like, I mean, it's one thing to go back to the very first episodes where we knew what we wanted to do, but we did not know what we were doing.
It was like the idea was there. We did not know how to do it yet.
Right. And yet we put together like a show that successfully conveyed the things that we wanted. It's just been a long process of refinement since then.
Formatting kind of I remember like we were going over some of the first ones, like in the first season or so, like in the first 15 episodes. You could still see we were trying on different formulas and like show layouts and even like assets and stuff. And then obviously all that changed when it went from PNNN to FNC.
Right.
So everything kind of got revamped again and reformatted a little bit more. But no, I think it was nice to kind of see the transition over the past, 3 years basically of doing this.
Yeah.
Where we're kind of at.
2.5.
2.5,
You can almost kind of track how far into FNC we've progressed just by how many times my microphone changed. Like, usually with some major change happened around the time I got a new microphone change.
It's very true.
Lav start at the start that was really bad, to webcam, to Blue Snowball, to current microphone, to editing said microphone later down the line.
One of a handful of ways, I think, to break down the eras. We were looking at how my camera and lighting setup has changed over time.
That has significantly changed.
Well, and it's more or less the same gear. I started recording on my phone. We were talking too about how if you go back and you watch This Week in Nerf, you can see the episode where they bought a teleprompter. Like Addie's performance changes drastically, instantaneously. And I've had a teleprompter the whole time, but I couldn't work it doesn't like my phone. And I was recording the original episodes with my phone, as I did a lot of the old Family Foam Sports stuff. And I say this a lot, but like the camera that I use, someone was pointing out dead pixels in my camera at some point recently. But the camera that I use is some 2010s. It's like a 10-year-old. It's not a great camera, but it's a camera. It likes the teleprompter. It works. It's just kind of random stuff. But that's kind of been the whole history of the show, is eventually learning how to take what we have available to us and do the best job that we can. And that has resulted in having more things available to us as time has gone on. Has gone on.
Someone track how many different projects Vile has had on his table and when exactly the blue to purple desk mat changed. Also, this is ironic, KT. It just now hit me. But do you remember in the first 2 episodes, I was using my face, right? And I was down in a really crappy area. So that same wall that I recorded the first 2 episodes in, because I had to move my setup down into the basement, my office space is now exactly on that wall I first recorded those first 2 episodes in.
Oh, that's
so every
funny.
episode since I moved down here has been recorded in that exact same space, and the lighting has improved. I went from down there up to my room and now back down to here, but with a significantly nicer arrangement.
I'm really curious to hear from you, Cats, about this, because you have been a friend and viewer a lot of that time, and do you know? Well, right. Do you how much did you notice that kind of stuff? Even do you? But not even just about us in general. A lot of YouTube channels in and out of the hobby, they kind of go through these evolutions, and it's
yeah.
I don't know. Did that ever impact your desire to watch the show or anything like that?
Honestly, not really. I was already invested by the time anything started to change.
Right. Right. That's fair. I think that's so important for us to remember, that I think most people are just happy to have the news, and I'm astonished to the degree that people say that they watch for the hosts, which is really just nice.
Yeah.
It's a really nice thing to hear.
I never expected personalities to be like the driving factor behind it. It was always just kind of like the idea was the content itself and its presentation being good for the viewer experience, not necessarily like, oh, we're gonna like have these really compelling personalities and that's what
Yeah.
But I mean, it's really nice to hear still at the end of the day.
Totally. I think about a creator like Coop, who I think I don't think he recognized how much of like his personality was the draw. He was like very into like dialing in his presentation style and making like the most perfect videos you can. But like people were watching because they liked watching him.
Mm-hmm.
And I always wonder how much he really recognized that. I say as I like recognize that I think we're always a little in denial about how much like people really like watching us. But it's so nice. But it's just nice. It's just nice to hear that. Because we do put a lot of ourselves into this show.
Big time.
Put a lot of.
Yeah, I would say big time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would be lying if a significant portion of thought over the last 3 years has not gone into the show or care or personal energy from any one of us.
Yeah. So when we started doing the show, I guess did we all individually edit our segments? Because I remember that the first
I edited
2 episodes,
all of them.
Yeah, you were up like all night doing the first couple episodes, and then we were like, "This is not tenable," and I want to say that we went to like, it was kind of like weird because we all had different editing setups. And so to some degree, like I was gathering edited segments, but then I was editing some of them.
Yeah, because I remember I pivoted over to the PNG rather quickly thereafter. And I remember I started trying to do my segments as all individually like perfect cut. And then I tacked on the bloopers after.
Right.
And then I think the only thing that had to be added on there was the green screens. And I think Jolt like did like manual cuts on stuff like breaths of air, so that way the segments were shorter.
That's right. I mean, I think this is really the key thing for people to understand before we start really getting into Katz's role in the show currently, is that like there's always been this sort of balance between like we're a team of 3 or 4 people and everybody's recording their stuff on their own, and then how much do you pre-edit it before you send it to someone else who then has to make it into the full part of the show? And there was a period of time, like it's always been a little bit like those things are not consistent from person to person. Like I like before Kat started on, the way that we were doing it was Vile would send me one big file. That was his whole. Well, wait, there's a step in between this, right? For the longest time, Vile would send me one big file, and then I would edit that, chop that down into segments, and then Grimz would send me a file separate for each story, which you're still doing.
Yeah, I literally name it like my name, episode. It's on specific segment title and like everything, so it's just like super easy to find exactly where it needs to go.
Because like you edit them for time usually, or like edit in the perfect performance, which as a PNG you can do really freely, and that's like a time saver, but. At least on my side, and then I would assemble the final. I would edit my own stuff and set up the final show. We started to save time, or save my time at least. Vile you started editing all of your segments.
Yeah, I was still sending in a big file, but I would have it all as just one clipped piece, because that way you could just cut whatever you needed, and I would, we always leave like tail, front, and end back for you to have timing to do it for how it gets kind of clipped in and stuff. But it also gives you the ability, if you are going through it, if there are outtakes or something you want to grab of me making a stupid sound or something, doing something dumb. You put it in at the end, obviously. But that's why I typically leave it, is because sometimes I don't realize that I'm singing to myself while I'm grabbing the next blaster or something for the next thing. So it's like, just give the whole thing, just do it all. And I remember I started putting in segments in there where it's like, all right, here's my plan, KT. I plan to do this, or this is how I'm imagining it.
What's gonna happen.
Like the rag one that was just done with the thing, which is why I love stuff like that, because both Cats and you basically.
I was gonna say, one of the fun things about that is some of the sounds and edits were added by Cats, and then it came to the final episode, and I added more.
Yeah. So, but I gave that. I gave that sort of instruction, and between the two of you, that's what came out. After my whole performance into it, and then all the sound effects, and the ricochet shots, and the music and stuff, I thought it was great.
It was great.
Yeah,
it was a great segment. I really loved that.
I think if someone were able to see into the organization channels where everything goes down, they wouldn't be able to parse together how we coordinate an episode, because it's just like episode start time, people, scripts get chosen, scripts appear, scripts get edited, like without anything else being said, and then everyone just kind of does their thing, and then it comes together. But what isn't shown is like, I might be popping into a call with Vile. We shoot the shit back and forth, and then like we randomly have an idea for a bit or something else like that, or I talk to Cats about something, or all the weird interactions in between. But we also, at this point, the episodes have been done so many times, we can kind of make the stuff and understand
formula.
Yeah, there's like that teamwork formula where we can just kind of get it done without even necessarily needing to say too much about it until
the show is at a point where a lot goes unspoken, and ideally that makes space to speak about new things rather than having to like rehash all the just like normal stuff that you have to do every time.
The additional discourse is always like additional fun bells and whistles that get tacked into an episode, or random bits and gags and other little baubles.
So into that setting steps Cats, and Cats coming on, for me especially, but for all of us, was such a relief and a breath of fresh air to have someone else taking on some of not just, I should say, taking on some of the weight of all of this editing work, but also adding an additional voice into the show without adding a literal voice generally, but like to be able to add a layer of interpretation to things and sort of keep us on our toes in terms of like there was like a dip when Cats first came on in terms of like how many like visual gags and bits we were doing, because we were sort of like reorganizing our process, and then it like went back up to somewhere it hasn't been before, which is amazing, which is so great,
because here like, and there.
I mean, if you like, we were just watching old episodes, and it's like we used to do like multiple visual bits every single episode.
Yeah,
and we got into a period of time where like I feel like we were still doing a very good job of presenting the news and gathering all the stories and covering everything, but we weren't. We were like a little more, I don't want to say on autopilot. I don't feel like that's really true, but I feel like we were sort of like in the process and not branching ourselves out. And we just needed someone who didn't have like, who was focused just on the look of the segments to sort of catch that and have a chance to process each one as they were coming in and come up with new ideas. So I want to talk about that, but first, I want people to get to know Cats better. So, Cats, how'd you get into the hobby?
Well, it all started when I was a kid.
Many such cases.
I had a few blasters as a kid. Gradually, I stopped playing with them. Interest shifted other places.
The Dark Ages.
And somewhere around 2016, 2017, I was just wandering through the toy aisle of my local Walmart, and I saw a blaster that reminded me of one I had as a kid. So I grabbed it. And it just spiraled from there.
What was it? What was the blaster?
It was a Retaliator. Reminded me of the Recon I used to have.
I knew it.
I was gonna say I know it too. If those of us who know Cats might have a problem.
He may or may not have a
may or not have a problem when it comes to Recons and Retaliators.
Hang on, I'm gonna share an image that can be added in.
So how long did it?
There are 20
I mean, you could just
currents that I see.
share that image by dragging it into OBS.
True, you can actually, yeah.
That would actually save me a lot of work later. Which would be pretty sick.
Yeah.
While you're looking for that image, you should tell us how did that turn into hobby stuff? Like, did you have local events? Did you start modding first?
Yeah, I got into the modding first. Trying to concentrate.
Yeah, I'm making you do the streamer brain stuff.
Split my attention. Not used to this.
Yeah,
but I got into the modding first. I just started with like block removals and like penny mods on. I think it was a dart tag blaster. I did that first.
So the old school mods.
Yeah. And eventually I decided, this isn't good enough. Let's move on to an internals overhaul. So I bought parts for, believe it or not, a Retaliator.
Surprise.
Shock.
Surprise, surprise.
Shocker.
I gotta know, where did they come from, since this is like 2017, 2016. Where did you get them from, and what kind were they?
Oh, there's the picture. It's not scaled
Part
correctly.
of it. Part of it.
Part of the picture.
I believe in you. Hey,
There's
there we
There's
go.
some.
Oh my god.
There, yeah. Some of us may have helped with this obsession that Cats has with recons and
I believe all of those are
Retaliators.
different versions, by the
They
way, as
are,
well,
yes.
internally.
they
or
are
something
all
else.
unique in some way.
Oh my god.
there are multiples because cats you probably should tell people how obsessed you are, because the fact that you see 5 yellow recons, but the fact that each and every one of them
They
is
are
different.
all different in
they are
some
all
way.
different. Yeah.
Cats, it's time for show and tell.
Just explain it. This is
you
good.
need to because if
Okay.
people are seeing this, they're going to wonder why.
Time to get a little
Just remember as you explain it that we have audio only listeners.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'll just describe the image.
Also,
And
where while you're describing it as well, I would also say, where did the obsession of going down this path come from?
that's a good question. I honestly don't know. It just kind of happened one day. I was like, hey, I should start.
You've
collecting
contracted
Did you-
recon addiction.
So before we get into it, then did you notice something different between some of these, and you started just sort of like peeling it back and sort of digging further into it with each one of these ones that you found?
I think at first I was really just looking for the more rare ones, like the Crimson Recon and the Gear Up Recon, the transparent ones. And then I started to realize there were more variants than I originally thought. And it just compounded on itself.
just a little bit. So yeah, so then with that, what do we actually see in the image that you had pulled up here for the audio listeners?
So there are 7 Retaliators, 9 Recons, and 4 Recon Mark IIs.
Oh my god. Okay.
Now, what is the difference between all of them?
Yeah, what's the difference
Okay.
between them all?
So we have a more paint blue Retaliator, a less paint blue Retaliator, Sonic Ice Retaliator.
It's so funny because as you
Yeah.
say it, and I look
You'll
at it, it's like,
see 'em.
oh, obviously that's what the difference is.
Yep.
But
Yeah.
until you said it, I would have just been like, that's a lot of Retaliators.
Yeah, a lot of the Elite Blasters had like more paint variants originally.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
For listeners, the first blue Retaliator, it's got the like extra white on the handle and by the mag
White
well
stripe,
at the
yeah.
front end, and then the secondary version was probably a cost cutting thing. It's missing all of that on the main body.
Yeah, exactly. And then we have 2 more paint Retaliators, the white ones, 2 more
Okay.
paint white Retaliators. The difference between these
There's like a
is
light
on
gray
one of
handle.
them, there's a Nerf logo on both sides of the magwell,
Mm-hmm.
but on the other,
Oh,
there's only one and a warning label.
interesting.
Yeah,
Okay.
there are some variants of that. I can't remember if that was one that I had to send you. I don't remember.
No, I just had it.
Did you? Okay. I thought I sent you one of those, but I might be wrong which one it was.
Well, and it looks like the handle paint is different.
Yeah,
I mean,
it
who
looks,
knows? It's
from
just
this
a bunch of
image, it
little
looks slightly
variations.
different.
It's not. It's just the lighting.
Okay, sick. Well, I just realized I can open the image in a different thing so I can see it better. Okay. What? Keep going.
Okay. So then we have a Recon CQ12. I didn't get the mag with it, unfortunately. I think I might have had the option, but I didn't get it for whatever reason.
Fine. We'll forgive you.
I'll help you track it down. Anyways, go on.
I'd appreciate that.
I'll do my best. I'll do my best.
Got your heart in the right place. Let's go.
And then we've got the 2 drums from the Retaliator Plus pack that was exclusive to Sam's Club. I don't have a Retaliator for it just yet. But that is on the list of acquisitions. And then we have the 4 non-yellow recons, the Gear Up, Crimson, Sonic Green, and Clear.
Okay.
Then 2 less paint white Retaliators. The difference between these 2 is, if you're a video listener, you can see that one of the mags is fully opaque, the other is half transparent.
The half transparent mag. Okay.
But that's not where the differences end. I believe the one with the half transparent mag has all orange internals, whereas the other one has some white internals.
Oh, weird.
So
It looks
one
like
had
the
the Delrin
plastic-
internals and the other has like the orange plastic. Got it.
Yeah, it looks like
Yeah.
a lot of the plastic is different. Like different. Like you
Might
can.
be.
I've definitely seen this thing where on the front of the magwell there's like that orange bulb there, and
Yeah.
you can tell that it's different paint or different whatever. Like the bottom one might be painted and the top one might be a separate piece or something. I don't know. But they look different to me. Anyway, so then you got the Recon Mark III.
Yeah, Recon Mark III,
Obviously different.
which was an Amazon exclusive. You might still be able to get it. I'm not entirely sure.
You were recently. I'm not sure. So
And then we go over to the third row.
okay, I'm
Right.
really curious about the 5 recons.
Okay.
It's interesting. It's actually
one
really
of
interesting.
them's got to be the recall one, right?
Yes, that is the one at the very top.
Okay.
You can see because it doesn't have the plunger tube cover.
Right.
Yeah, the cap. Yeah, it's
that
the
is
pre-recall.
That is the original Recon, the first one to have ever released. And then below it, we have the Quick Fix. That's still all the same internals and everything. The only thing that's different is the plunger tube cover. As far as I know, there were 2 variants of that. One where you sent in a replacement form, and you just got the replacement piece in the mail.
Interesting.
The other where it was just kind of a stand-in, where every new Recon you bought, it was already in the box.
Okay.
And then, continuing on down, we have 2 of the post-recall Recon, the one you would typically see, the most common one. And what's different between these is the sling point on the grip. On one of them, it's molded into the shell. On the other, it's a separate piece.
Yeah,
Whoa.
it is such a minute, small detail.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I didn't even notice it either until Katz had pointed it out, and I had I think both, and I was like, huh, that's interesting.
wild.
Had no idea
Yeah,
there was
I
one
don't-
like
I've
that.
I've never noticed that before.
Yeah,
That's crazy. Okay, and then there's 2 Recon Mark IIs as well.
Yes. And what's different about these is, the grip guard on one of them, it's thicker, poses compatibility issues with certain mags. There's also a bit of a bulb at the
That's-
front of the magwell.
that's
Whereas
wild.
on the other one, it's not there.
Oh yeah, that's a different mold. That you don't see that often.
Entirely different.
That's so weird.
I remember
Yeah,
that one
they
when
had
it
to
first
change it.
came out because I remember that was a complaint in the reviews, and it also has like the tack rail underneath is not in strike, right? It's like that little.
And you'll notice that there are 3 barrels there, despite there only being 2 Recon Mark IIs. It's because they released 3 variants of that. There are 2 with a functional in-strike rail and 1 without.
Weird. What's the difference between the 2 with?
Okay, so the rail is actually shorter on one of them.
Oh.
Oh, I see that now.
Yeah, that's so weird.
Were those some of the parts that I had sent you? Was those front pieces? Was that one of the ones I sent?
Maybe.
Or was it one of the MK2s? I don't remember.
I know you sent me one of the blasters and like the stock and one of the mags.
You're making me want to run downstairs and start like digging through it.
start to look, KT.
What are you still missing? I'll send you stuff. I gotta get rid of blasters.
I'm missing a Recon CQ12 mag.
Okay.
A less paint white retaliator for the drums. And world's smallest
is it a
retaliator.
version that's different than the other less paint white retaliators you already have, or you just need an additional one for the drums?
As far as I know, it's not. I would assume it's more in line with like the multicolor internals one.
Okay, so you just need like another one.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Katz wants the one retaliator I got that he's mad that I won't send him.
the
double print
that Vile found.
I have a misprint.
Oh,
so
weird.
Where it says retaliator, I have one where the silk screen was actually done twice and the lettering is actually offset, so it's printed on it twice and just slightly off.
So that's cool. But that's not like a different version.
Yeah, it's
not a different version.
variant.
It's more of this made it past QC and was sold as
Send that to get it graded like a Pokemon card.
yeah, I'll put it into the plastic case with a rating on it.
Yeah.
Then I'll sell it to Cats that way.
Have Cass be the official Recon grader.
Yeah, you'll be the
Grading.
I was gonna say that would be really
Grading
funny, actually,
Recon
to start,
rarities.
Like a blaster grading service. No, you know what? Okay, you know what someone needs to do if they just want to be do a big meme is start a dart grading service. You just send
General
a single
Strife
dart.
could do a dart grading service. I feel that General Strife would be on that.
Yeah,
I forgot
yeah.
people used to actually collect different variants of the Elite darts anytime they came out with like those limited
That's
time
right.
like special. I forgot that was a thing people did. Holy shit, that was a core memory unlock right there. I knew someone across the street who used to do that.
That's funny. Okay, well, Cat special interest on full display
Recons
here.
and retaliators.
Yeah.
You know, if you have a question about one, you know where to send the question to.
Yeah, really.
Please don't ask me questions.
Gotta
of all, how dare you
wait,
speak
Cats.
to me?
You gotta get the gray triggers.
Oh yeah.
True.
Yeah, I do.
And you know what
That
that
is
means? If there are
so
gray
much.
triggers, that means
So
there's
much
a
money.
gray trigger probably of almost every version you just listed off.
Oh, that's
Well,
that's
okay.
at least a few
I
of
mean,
them.
this
least a
would
few
be
of them.
interesting to look into because when things like the production process for doing things overseas doesn't necessarily mean that they're like consistently. You know what I mean? Like, are the Toys R Us exclusives really available worldwide? Maybe
I
not.
think
Are
they-
really
I
gonna
think-
make-
Possibly.
Canada, I don't remember if they had gray triggers up in Canada though.
I don't think so.
I only remember that really as Australia, wasn't it?
Australia, yeah.
I don't remember that.
Then
being a
again,
thing
I
in
also
Canada.
got some. I got some in my state as gray triggers a couple times, so
that's
I
weird.
genuinely don't know. Like, I have a handful of like mega blasters and like elite blasters that I got that were gray trigger in the states.
Interesting. And
Yeah.
then were they actually lower power?
Yes, they shot like half the range of my other stuff. It was wild.
I think there
Okay.
were some blasters that were only ever released with a gray trigger.
What?
I think
Mega
the Big
stuff,
Shock was
wasn't it?
one.
Yeah, some Mega Blasters, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I was gonna
Oh,
say
yeah.
I'm pretty sure a lot of the Mega stuff had gray triggers just for everywhere.
Well, I mean, this is one of those semantic things that we always have to deal with when we're making this show. If you say with a
Yeah.
gray trigger, a blaster could exist that has a gray trigger, but is not at gray trigger power. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it could just be that they only printed the trigger in one color, or they specifically decided that gray was the good color for that blaster's trigger, and maybe it didn't get released overseas, or it didn't need to. You know what I mean? So, like, we have to be careful how we use terms like that, I guess, because there could be something released with a gray trigger that just shoots normal.
Yeah.
Okay. So, special interest unlocked. You're modding Recons and
hit this.
Retaliators. And this is 20.
This was 2021
Okay.
that I modded the Retaliator.
All right. Around the end of the COVID lockdowns here. And yeah, I mean, it just
I should mention I got into modding as kind of part of my extra free time in the lockdowns.
right, yeah.
It all started around that time because I also coincidentally started getting more money around that time.
Random happenstance just started showing up.
Yep. And I ordered the mod parts for the Retaliator from AK Blaster Mod at the end of 2020.
Okay.
They showed up start of 2021, and I threw it together.
And then things snowballed.
Let me see. There was a war I went to shortly after that. July 31st, 2021 was my first war I ever went to.
I listened. I don't know if you listened to the podcast. Well, there's your problem. When the date gets read off in that podcast, it always means something terrible is about to happen. But I don't think that's where the story goes.
The terrible thing is that was almost 4 years ago.
I mean, it's not that long. That's only slightly before we started making the show.
Oh no, you're right.
Oh,
We talked about this in 2022. You're right.
Yeah. So okay, so you're going to wars now, and then Provisional Nerf News Network launches. What was your like content diet like then?
a lot of Coop.
Yeah. For
A
the
lot of
articles.
Captain Xavier.
Yeah.
Just, a lot of Nerf tubers, really.
Healthy diet of Nerf tubers.
Balanced diet.
Yeah. When did you have to help me connect the timeline, because I didn't know you quite as well then, but
Yeah.
like you've been in Vile's orbit for a while, and
Around 2 years.
oh okay,
Maybe 2.5.
okay, about the
that'd be
amount of
about
time
right.
we've been making the show.
Yeah. About
Probably around that time.
Cool. Did you find Vile through? Wait, did you find Vile through the show? Because we
I
were
think
always
I
pushing
did.
the streams. Okay, yeah.
I think I did.
Yeah.
I found the show through Foam Blast because
Okay. I was
was
going to say how it
advertised
popped
in
into
their
your
server.
algorithm. Okay, that
Yeah.
makes a lot more sense now.
and then I found Vile through the show.
There we go.
Hey.
See,
There's the through line.
I might have had some interactions with them before the show started,
I
but
don't remember.
quite remember.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't remember. I remember you popping into the Twitch streams for a little bit
I
there.
remember that.
And then you were hanging out a lot more in like the Discord. And then I don't know like how, but somehow
I
you
somehow found my way into the friend group.
Somehow,
you found your way
magically.
to the friend group. And then
Yeah.
it's been really funny like how it was like in the Twitch streams, because like I started blaming Cats for everything that was wrong.
Duh.
And like I was telling everybody that Cats is always permabanned, even though Cats is sitting there with a VIP badge and chatting with people. Like,
I really don't know.
I don't know how
happened.
it really happened.
I just remember that somehow, someone Cats magically manifested and was just always and always had been in the VC.
I just kind of appeared one day.
Yeah,
just kind of showed up. And
new
just
friend
hanging out.
unlocked, and just kind of showed up, and it all goes from there, I guess.
So, how did you get started with video editing? I'm curious how that got started.
Okay, so this was another step in my modding journey. I bought a Spamf kit, and I decided to just record myself putting it together. And, I edited it and uploaded it to YouTube. It's not the best quality, but it was my first.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
Kind
Gotta
of
start somewhere.
to be expected.
Yeah.
I mean, as discussed, you got to start somewhere,
Yeah.
right? We sure did. Yeah.
And then I decided, editing on my phone wasn't great, so I tried editing on my computer and downloaded DaVinci Resolve. Made more videos. Here we are.
Yeah. Well, we're glad you're here. How do we make the connection to have you on as editor? We'd been looking for an editor for a while, off and on, but it's
I
always
had
kind
been-
of like, how do you get the right person with the right vibe? Because
This
Go
came
ahead.
into me, actually, I was going to say, KT, because I brought it up. I was chatting
yeah,
in VC, and Katz was in there about that. I had actually been saying, like, God, it would be really nice if we had somebody who can edit. And Katz actually was just like, hello, like, hey,
Hello.
I
know.
just jokingly said, like,
yeah, jokingly
hey,
said,
I'll help.
yeah, said I'll help,
And then-
and hang out with Katz quite regularly, and I remember just thinking, like, this actually could be pretty good. So, and it was just making the time to, like, bring it up to the rest of everybody else, like, obviously with Grimz, and then obviously with you, saying, like, hey, how do we feel about trying to get Katz on and trying it out? Because obviously you want to try to put somebody through the paces, but we've been friends, like, for a while now at that point, and
Yeah.
Katz
Cats
had
had
been
already
hanging out
more
a
than
lot.
already passed the vibe check by that point.
Yeah, I would say that. Yeah, I would think that's where the connection sort of happened, was sort of from me just bringing it up in VC with some friends, of, like, just kind of discussing, like, well, here's what I'm thinking. I really need something like this. This would be really nice. It could really help us.
Yeah.
And Kat's just raising his hand. Hey, right here. I got you. I'll try it. I'll do it.
A bond forged in Helldivers? ?
Yeah. Me and Katz play Helldivers quite regularly together now, so it's pretty.
And then I
normal
show up at, like,
conversation.
really odd hours as the emergency reinforcement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just kind of appear and drop in.
But yeah.
I'm truly the outsider here. I only play Halo Reach.
Fair enough.
Fair.
Yeah, but I mean, I think that's the real thing is the vibe check. What's the like in the music world, it's about the pay, the music, and the hang, and ultimately, like, the hang is the most important one, because if you don't want to keep working with these people, the pay's got to be real good. And if you don't like the music, the other two have to be real good. To make
And here
it
the pay is
worthwhile.
non-existent.
Yeah, the hang has got to be
You
good.
guys are getting paid?
You guys are
Nope.
getting paid?
No.
Nope. Not even in the slightest.
the hang and the vibe have to be good to work on a project like this, and so that's honestly the most important thing, and you can kind of learn all the other pieces as you go if you need to. But you came in already with a great handle on video editing, and I think the really key thing has been that, like, as you get notes and stuff, I feel like I've only ever given you a note once. And then you just
Yeah.
do
I
it
feel
that
like
way
it's
forever.
More than that.
There was just
Maybe,
the one.
maybe.
It was like the one episode specifically. You gave, like, a bunch of spark notes, and then it just kind of everything
Yeah.
kind of got all tidied
Like,
up, and then from
I-
there
I
it went on.
I'm sure I'm sure it's not literally true that I've never repeated something that I wanted you to do differently.
Oh, you probably have.
But generally speaking, it feels like I just ask you to do things a different way, and they happen that way, and sometimes you like build on it too. And that's the key thing that's really key. Is that you're like, you care about what you're doing, you get the vision, you have your own vision to apply, you understand what we're asking for, and it just works. Like, it just feels good to have you as part of the creative team.
As Todd Howard just said, all of this just works.
Exactly.
Well, I sat down with Cats as well, and when we first were sort of like the trial run of like, hey, let's have Cats try out with some editing, this episode. I sat down, or like was in a VC and going over like editing and just saying like, yeah, here's how we typically do it. Here's the normal ways. Here's like how we do it with this, or how we credit. Here's some of the stuff. And Cats was just like, yep, okay. And then just kind of took it from there. So it was pretty straightforward with what you were needing. And again, most of the stuff you're having is just more of like, I think even the comments that I've seen is like just maybe timing on just like little key spots just for timing reasons, like maybe like an image not hanging around for too long, or it popping up at this particular moment or whatever. But beyond that, it was pretty. Yeah, he just took to it really quickly, just with the first sit down, and I was just like, "Well, that's easy." Because
exactly.
I pick up on things fast.
It's like, why have we been doing it this way for so long?
Yeah,
it honestly boggles my mind that like something that works this perfectly ended up working out. Like, Cats just sort of fell into the position really easily, because it's not an easy task. Like, it's one thing to be good at editing, but it's another to understand the vision, and it's a completely other thing to be able to do that with 3 remote presenters that you're editing who are all in completely different time zones, who all work at completely different hours, and you have a very tight schedule to uphold, and everyone's uploading their segments at like random hours, completely different from each other, and then you're like, yep, got it, and it's all still ready for showtime.
Yeah. I mean, you came in with such a healthy understanding, I think, of the culture, partly from being friends with us personally, but also from watching the show from the beginning. I mean, that's really important. That's incredibly important, just to sort of get the vibe right off the bat. How, having said all of this, how has it felt for you stepping across a curtain, even though you know us personally and all this stuff, like to step into the world?
A bit scary at first, but I'm getting used to it.
But we'll expand on that. Like, what feels scary? Because like for me, it's kind of like I've just always been here, so it's so
I just exist.
I just work here.
Yeah. Boy, do I. Well, not anymore, or less, at least. Anyway, no, I want to know what that. I really want to know about that, because like, it feels so normal to me.
Well, yeah, I'm usually not one for the spotlight.
Yeah.
That's.
Well, you picked the right job here.
I picked editing.
Yeah, I was gonna say, for somebody who's not in the spotlight, this is a fantastic position.
Well, look at me now. I'm in the spotlight.
I mean, you are in the spotlight right
only
now,
for the
but
moment,
I promise
though.
you we'll get you out of it soon. I just like, I think it's
it's bright.
important.
I want to
people...
leave.
Yeah, exactly. Well, okay. That's fine. I don't have to put you on the spot and ask you about why you're nervous about doing it. It's been such a transformative thing.
That's my secret, KT. I'm always nervous.
I need a photo of Cats in like that dog meme where everything's on fire, and it's just like, this is fine.
This is fine. Yeah.
And there's DaVinci Resolve somewhere in there.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. Having you on the team has been really transformative, and will continue to be really transformative, I think. And so I just want to thank you for all the work that you've been doing for the show and are continuing to do for the show.
Well,
Because
thank you for allowing me to do it.
I mean, You're welcome for letting you work for free. I like it's. I don't know what to say, right? Like,
I will say that, like, what I like about Cats is that it's a very similar sense of humor as like a lot of us, so it makes it really easy to add jokes that all of us are going to enjoy and have fun with. It really makes it very easy to do, because even if I don't put a joke in, Cats might just magically think of one, and then I'm just laughing really hard because of how ridiculous it was.
100%.
Like the blooper they just kind of added in on their own, and I was just like, oh, that's perfect.
Yep. Perfect.
No, I deleted everything.
Well, and okay, so speaking of which, one of the things that we're working on right now, so looking back at our production process, I've been the one assembling the final show for a very long time. So this is the first. We are actually doing that, right? This is the first episode. Are you going to be assembling it?
I'll
Okay, sick.
I'll have to be assembling it. I need to still download all the stuff. I've been like, and week's been a bit weird, but I got to download all of it. I am going to be doing that, and it's not really like I know the format. There might be some things that obviously there's, because obviously you use a different program than we do. You're using Premiere, right?
That's been one of the things, is that I edited a different program, and so like we can't send files back and forth, and we've talked and considered like trying to use show money to pay for a license so that like we can all be using the same program, back and forth, and ultimately we were just kind of like, nah. But this way but now we sort of have to rebuild the show in DaVinci.
Resolve.
DaVinci?
But it's going to be worth doing. And it makes it a lot easier because you both work in DaVinci. Yep. And you also work in DaVinci Grimz, right? Y'all, like, theoretically, any of you can assemble the show.
Yep. Yeah, and that's
great.
That's the thing. It's going to be a little bit of time consuming just to rebuild certain things.
Yes.
Obviously, so that way the format is just kind of geared into that. It can be saved as an asset. But the nice thing is that once it's done, you have 3 people who can grab it at any time.
Right.
And so if in a pinch, or, we really need somebody else, like if Cats can help me, or if Grimz, can pick up for whatever reason, because something came up. It's nice that it is like, it's a shared responsibility. And it's something I know that we had talked about potentially doing, but it's always one of those things where just trying to cut the time in and make that time was always really difficult, because you're trying to get, especially if you were trying to rebuild it on your end, you're already the busier one out of the group. So that was really difficult. But then now that we have some of those assets sort of there, and if I'm going to start taking the time to do it, it's just a process that just needed to get done. And I think it's actually, I guess, what better way than to kind of force the hand into doing it? It's like, all right, you know what? Time to just sit down and do it.
It's ironic more than anything, because I'm realizing a lot of stuff has come full circle, because the show, when it was originally produced, because it was edited by me, the original show format came from a product of how I edit stuff in DaVinci. The Brady Brunch intro, actually, I kid you not, the whole reason the intro is the way that it is DaVinci that same period of time had rolled out a feature to do something like what the intro looks like, and I had just used that new feature as a test.
I had no idea. That's so funny.
It was literally just I was just trying out I was like, haha, silly new feature. I'm gonna try it out. And it became the intro from there on out.
Wow.
Oh, no, I accidentally influenced the entire show.
I did not know that at all.
Yeah, so like all the slides and panels, it was just like, sure, we'll go with this. This looks good, and then became the pseudo format.
The standard.
So I'm gonna be really clear here as well. This is ironic. A lot of the episodes that are no longer up, and like the first episode on my channel, I had an editor for like the first half of my channel. I didn't edit my own videos, so I only acquired that skill. I had a course in school, but it was for a different program, and I had to acquire the skill to edit my own videos later, essentially, by that point. And so, but then right around, I had gotten competent enough by the time we were doing PNNN at the time, I was like, oh yeah, no, I can do this just fine. And then I realized, free version of DaVinci is hard to make something from the ground up in at the time, at the very least it was. So I was just like, this takes a long time. And then it would be like, hey guys, it's 8 a.m. Episode releases at 12. No worries though, I'll get the export out soon. And then it would be like, KT would be like, have you slept? And I would just say, no.
Sick. Yeah, I remember those days.
Yeah, that it was literally just some random sleep deprived idea where the intro came from. I was like, new feature. Tired. Let's try this out.
Let's roll.
Katz wants to talk about his integrations. Is that a good?
Not like that.
Is that a good way to bring it up? No. You're right though, because we were talking about your other modding work, and then we pivoted to the show, and I should have continued to talk about that a little bit. When did you pivot to integrations? Because you started out, you were doing kits, right?
Yeah.
As many of us did, and then
I'll also add it's a good time because Merge Masters just finished off anyways.
That's
so
true. We should definitely talk about that.
It's a good
today.
topic to actually get into.
Yeah.
So yeah, go ahead.
So how'd you get into that?
So, this is still 2021 timeframe. Sort of more towards the end of the year, I started wanting to do an integration.
Mm-hmm.
But I couldn't at the time because I was living in an apartment, and I didn't want to make a mess or do anything outside, really.
Mm-hmm.
So that was kind of put on the back burner for a little while. And then I moved into a house in the first quarter of 2022. So I had a garage I could actually work in. And I made a stock for the pump action retaliator I had modded just a year prior.
Okay. Out of what?
A bunch of stuff. So, I can send pictures in a minute. But it has a base.
Put them in OBS. Open them OBS.
They're on my phone.
Help me out here.
I'd have to send them to my computer anyway.
All right.
But it has a base of a regulator stock, and it's extended by a retaliator stock attachment point.
Okay.
The half that's on the stock itself.
Yeah.
And then it's wrapped in retaliator slides, 2 of them.
Okay.
Which were also used for plating over holes. As well as acrylic, where I didn't have enough material. Not the best material, but it worked.
Uh-huh.
And since the retaliator was modded to take short darts, the full-length mag stock wouldn't, work. So I integrated in a worker short dart adapter.
Okay.
Got that half dart storage in the back now.
Yeah. And then I threw the cheek rest from a Fortnite IR stock onto it.
Okay.
They're so good.
And then I painted
So
up
good.
the blaster, the retaliator, the stock, and a long strike barrel in sort of elite colors. And called it a day.
So for those of you who are audio only, go check Cat's Blaster Mod's channel. It is his little wallpaper up at the top. You can see it there. Check him a little subscribe or something. I need to add him to the FNC family list of channels that we have listed.
Yeah.
I can do that
Definitely
right now since I'm
update
signed
that.
in. I'll just do that right now.
I believe I have a full log of the build progress on my Instagram
I
account.
think, somewhere.
I'm checking right now. I do.
Yes.
So if you want to see pictures of it, go through the full entirety of the log. Instagram.com/catsblastermods.
We'll link everything.
Yeah.
And both permanently and in this episode.
All right, your channel is now attached to the front page of the YouTube.
So to tie that in, didn't you compete last year's Merge Masters? Didn't you finish your build last year? Wasn't it?
I'm getting to it. Shortly after I finished with the stock, looking through my logs, looks like about a month and a half later, I started on my first blaster, and I started another one, and another one, and another one, and joined Vile in the Unfinished Projects Club.
Welcome, my brother.
And then eventually I got to number 7, which I entered into Merge Masters last year.
That's the one. I didn't know how many you had between that one and Merge Masters, actually.
I didn't either. I had to count the other day.
That's funny.
And that was finally the first blaster integration I had completed. And by my count, I am up to 14, having only completed 1.
Welcome. You fit right in with my community.
There's one that's almost done, but I need to redo the internals and the paint. Vile may or may not know a lot about that.
I know exactly which one.
Yeah. And I'll just send a picture of the painted up Retaliator.
So you said you completed the one for Merge Masters last year. Did you? I can't remember. Did you place last year?
Yes.
What did you place?
I placed 3rd in the basic class, or whatever they named it. I don't remember.
I think it was based on how many blasters last year, right?
Yes, it was based off of the quantity of blasters used.
Yeah, that's right.
Merge Maven, that's what it was.
Yeah, that was a class. I couldn't remember the class names either.
But that was the 2 to 3 blasters class. And attachments counted as well. Let me get that image uploaded. There's the painted Retaliator. And let's get the integration in there as well. There we go. But I placed 3rd overall in my class. There were 3 classes total. Merge Maven, Merge Meister, and Merge Master. I believe Meister was 4 to 5, and Master was 6+.
No Merge Moister.
No.
Wait, wasn't it like Gulliver or something like that for the large one?
Ooh, that
I thought it was
sounds
something
like
else.
one. That sounds like a thing.
Well, that's the rolls I'm looking at. That
Okay. That's right. If you won it, I think
Gulliver was this year.
Oh, was it this year?
Oh,
Okay.
yeah,
I couldn't remember. I always thought I thought it was last year for some reason. I don't know. The years are blending together for me. It's a problem.
Time is made up. It's flat circle, etc.
It's a flat circle.
But the names don't really matter all that much.
So that means that you, out of all the integrations you've done, which technically at that point were 2 completed ones, one of them placed in Merge Masters.
Yeah. Second integration I had ever completed.
Incredible.
Placed 3rd in Merge Masters.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's sick.
Which, I mean, I did have a little bit of experience from
The unfinished projects.
From not finishing 6 prior to that.
See? People question my methods. Don't question my methods. My methods have purpose. 12% club.
Yeah.
12% club. Indeed.
As I have multiple projects already on this desk that are unfinished or in the process of. It doesn't matter. Look, all that matters is I finished one, and that's this one right here, and I did it in 3 streams. All right, get off my back. I finished projects, okay?
You finished.
Cats?
You finished project.
I also finished project singular.
Plural, not plural, singular.
I was going to enter. Actually, I did enter this year, but I had to back out because family issues got in the way.
What were you gonna make?
I was going to make a minimized hammer shot that was then unminimized by adding more stuff to it.
Make it small, then make it big.
Well, I made it small so I could make it big again because the stock hammer shot barely fit in the constraints I was given.
Okay.
And I wanted to add more to it, so I had to make it smaller to make it fit.
Makes sense.
Very
That
fair.
makes sense. I accept. Well, so yeah, I'll show these things too, because this integration is pretty sick. Everything is very slick.
For the second integration, it was documented on his channel as well, which is now linked. So for audio-only listeners, just check him out there.
Yes.
I'm now subscriber 87. I didn't realize I wasn't subscribed. 87's my lucky number. That's perfect.
I'm constantly realizing I'm not subscribed to people because I have so many channels that I like go and I'm like, oh yeah, of course I'm subscribed to. Nope, not subscribed, but it's only on this channel. Let's see. Well, anyway, whatever. It's fine. I can do that on my own time. Now I don't know where to go because I'm glad that we talked about. We do you have anything else you want to say about integrations other than just like you got really good at it really fast?
Cats is away right now.
What?
Check edit.
Come back. You're on a podcast. What the heck?
Cats will be back momentarily. They are currently visiting the litter box.
Wow.
Oh, fuck.
That would have been really slick if I had noticed that was going on, but I was not looking.
I was hoping we could continue talking, but then when you like asked the question, I was like, oh,
I didn't see that. I didn't see that at all. So
Oh, that's so funny. Oh my god, cats.
well, this is what happens when we don't have an outline. I mean, so like that because that's worth talking about too. So like the talking a little bit about the future of the show. Cause like I really like part of the reason I want to do this episode this way is cause like I want to make it like I don't want to make it about me, you know, like it's not. It's this team thing that we've been doing for so long. The podcast though, I have been running the podcast. Like the podcast has been sort of my baby for a long time, and everybody's made important contributions to it. But like it's been sort of my baby.
yeah. I remember day one, literally before you had even joined the team, we were just talking about planning the idea of the show still, and KT was like, "Yo, could I interest you in a podcast?" And we were like, "Sure, you want in?"
Sure.
Sorry about that. Nature calls, you know.
What the heck?
Litterbox.
Yeah, I didn't notice that you had said that, and so I like asked you a question, and Grimz had to be like,
That was a little bit last minute. Sorry.
"No, it's all good. It's all good. It's totally fine." We were just talking a little bit about the future of the show and the podcast specifically. So to cut to the short of it, I don't think that this is the last episode of the podcast, but it's not going to be consistent.
Yeah.
The most likely outcome here is sometimes when I have the time or there's a specific thing we really want to cover. Well, hopefully both. Hopefully I have the time and there's a specific thing or a specific person that we want to talk to about a specific thing. I'll probably come back and do episodes of the podcast, but it's not going to be a companion show with the show every single episode. Which is a little sad. We made it through 58 episodes consistently, never missing an episode. Not a lot of podcasts can say that. Feel very good about that. And I will remain proud of that fact. But I have to be realistic that it is a big time demand.
I think the idea of special edition podcasts would be kind of nice, though.
Yeah.
Personally, I like the idea because it
Quality
is also
over
something.
quantity.
Yeah, we can really just have a really awesome podcast with it.
Yeah.
And it would be, I think, or like whatever it is, whatever it's a big event or a big thing or something we want to cover, I think that's actually a really cool idea, personally.
And I guess this is a thing, I guess, to bring up, because we had said to like kind of throw it out there to see how the viewers feel about this. We weren't sure what we were going to do in the interim when KT is kind of away. And so in the meantime, we've just been kind of trying to come up with ideas if we will do accompanying content at all. But one idea that we kind of talked about, and I'd be interested for people who can comment either in the Discord or on the YouTube video in particular, how you feel about this. We proposed the idea of every once in a while, just, hey, news thing showed up outside of our release schedule, or we just want to do something immediately after release. Live stream, boot it up, because back in December or so, I created assets for streaming for FNC, so we could spotlight the Corvette charity drive, Joy of Socks charity, for their finale for everything. And so since we had the assets, it was just kind of like, we may as well use them, do it as kind of a not really scripted, more vibe-based, shoot the shot and talk kind of ordeal, so that way it's less structured, saves more time, but can also be kind of viewers can chat and whatnot. If you're interested in that idea, just say it sounds cool or something. I don't know.
I think that's a great idea. I think streaming as Foam News Collective is a great idea. The skill set already exists in the team, very strong, and I think that could be a really great way to give people a chance to, and then to have all that discussion and be able to turn that into a more robust story later as a result of having like really dug in and explored a topic in that setting. I think could be really great. So I'd love to see it.
Yeah.
I hope
Yeah.
I hope that happens. So folks, yeah, please definitely let the team know what you think of that. We've also talked about having some guest presenters on. I remember when we talked to Addie back in episode *
30?
whatever episode that was.
I want to say it was 30 something. I'm gonna go check this. Doing it live, the podcast.
Yep.
I want to say it was like episode 32 or 35.
Well, I remember when we had that conversation. One of the features of the show that they thought was really great was having all the guest presenters on, and then this year we've had like none. We just haven't gotten around to it. But now's a good chance, right? Because like to keep that visual diversity on the show, presentation style diversity, I think it would be really great to start maybe by having back some of the guests that we've had previously, and maybe find some new folks who want to put their faces on the news for a little bit.
I think it's also been kind of tough just getting time-wise, because a lot of other people have either been taking breaks or they've been quite busy. So it has been like a really kind of chaotic year for some people.
Yeah.
Or again, they sort of were taking a little break and stepping away, not permanently, but like not doing nearly as much.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like that has added to it. But yeah, hopefully we can get some people back on. It would be really nice, because I loved it. I loved it when we were able to have just at least somebody in for one or two like little segments here or there, and that was a lot of fun.
Yes, agreed.
And I mean, hey, if we haven't had you on the show before, but you have like a consistent portfolio that you can show of like quality or something, we're always open to hearing people out about having them on the show. It is never a bad thing to have a new presenter.
He says as he leans away from his microphone and his audio.
I didn't even realize I was doing that. I was like putting something away. Oh yeah. But yes, if maybe boost that in post. But I guess to reiterate, in the event that got garbled
will
out
not,
and can't be
but
seen,
go ahead.
if you haven't been on the show before and you have a consistent recording quality, and you can have some sort of portfolio you can show, hit us up
And you
if
can
you're
just dedicate
interested.
some of the time.
Yeah,
Because honestly, that's the biggest
if
thing.
you don't
to
have
ask
one,
is
you can
time.
always make one. Yeah, as long as you have the time, just hit us up. We're always interested to have new potential guests on the show, and if you fit the vibe and whatnot, sure.
Yeah.
It is never a. Definitely not usually. It is. It's just kind of like you just need to reach out. It's a possibly maybe usually.
So when are you guest presenting, Cats? That's the
That is the real question.
the real question.
We gotta
Good one, too.
we gotta wrangle Grim on here too, so that way there are two I'm Grim, and then I actually have to. I actually do have to say I'm Grim's for once.
You should, but we've talked about this too. There is something about having a human face on the show. And I'm excited about some other possible future developments, which I won't spoil here. But I think that'll be one of the things to do in the interim is to get some of our other great guests we've had on who show their faces, keep the show fresh that way. But also, yes, you should totally get Cats and Grim to do it. That'd be really fun.
It would be hilarious.
Yeah.
I'm Grim. I'm Grim's.
Yeah.
You have to. One has a Z at the end, and we have to make sure we pronounce it.
Yeah,
all the
I
way
dropped
down.
I dropped the Z for whatever reason in the intro, and I didn't realize it until like we were a couple episodes in, and I was like, well,
Stuck
it's
that
settled
way
then.
now.
Time
But
to
so
keep it.
you say Grim, but the captions say Grimz. They always have.
Ah,
Yeah. I always type it in.
excellent.
This is going to be the fun part of the process of transferring the editing over to other people. Is I get to give you all the long list of random little things that I do to keep the show consistent.
You know what? Maybe come transfer. I just start saying I'm Grim. Swap it up finally.
But then I got to
Just
start
change it.
writing Grim on the caption. No, I don't. I'm kidding. What is everybody's? First of all, there's no trivia this episode. I just didn't have time to think about it. I was actually digging around looking. I was gonna do like a potpourri and dig up like leftover questions from previous ones, and I thought I had some, and I think I actually went back and turned each one into a full set of questions for someone else already. So I didn't have anything.
Oh man.
I know, but also because we're not promising a next episode, it would suck to like raffle for somebody like, and then not be like someday you'll get to ask someone a
Yeah,
question.
right.
It's like the raffle thing was always.
Who knows?
Honestly, the raffle thing was always like a little sketchy. It never like quite worked out the way I wanted, but it was a great excuse to do the trivia game, and so in that sense, it was a win.
Yeah. For now, one podcast for the road.
Yes, exactly. But yeah, I want to know what is everybody's. Give me one big hope for the future of the show, for like the next year of the show.
Oh, okay, interesting. See, I'm always so like in the like now. I don't really think anymore about the I get ideas, but I never get the like super like goals anymore because I'm like every box has been sort of ticked. So
Yeah,
I guess the next goal then or hope would be that that's a good question.
anybody can do it if you know what you want to say. I'll say personally, for me in relation to the show, I hope that I can like go to a major event this year and do something for the show from there. Because even if I'm not here doing every episode and I'm not here consistently, I'd love to be able to still contribute in a meaningful way down the road. And going to a big event and doing some reporting from there or doing a live podcast would feel really, really good.
Or being a presenter, because you did a great job at that.
Thanks.
I thought you did a fantastic job.
I hope I get to do that too. I haven't talked yet with anyone from Ragfest.
You did a spectacular job there.
Because I got asked to do Mayhem this year, and I was so bummed that I couldn't do it.
The time change, I think, messed with a lot of us.
The month change just absolutely killed it for me.
If
maybe it's just not possible.
If Rag happens, hopefully live podcast too. That would be a fun way to do a return special.
To clarify, when you say if Rag happens, you mean if we get to go.
If we get to go to Rag.
Rag is happening. We just did the announcement for it.
Yes.
But just to be clear, if we get to go, hopefully, we'll get to do all that stuff again. I would love that.
Yeah. But I guess my major hope, aside from that potential thing that might be happening next year that KT knows about, would be, I guess it's just that we can do everything as we have been and it remains healthy, I guess, because that's been something that's been fortunate for most of us, is that it's been not something that is an unhealthy thing for us. And I know a lot of people eventually deal with burnout and stuff like that. I'd like to keep this going and keep growing, but I want it to always remain healthy and balanced for everyone and ensure that everyone's still happy with where they are with the show. That's my goal, because I talked to Vile about this a while back, but at this point, the show is no longer a sprint, it is a marathon. So it's about keeping pacing yourself. Obviously, it's good to pick up the pace so you can get further ahead in the marathon, but it is a marathon still nonetheless.
Yeah. It also helps to have someone like Katz come in and pick you up and carry you for a little while.
Thanks,
not that
Katz.
strong.
You've got to work on that core strength, Katz.
Katz is on the side, like office style, saying you needed to carbo load, shoving like Alfredo in your face or something.
Kat's got the strong back ready to carry us all.
Yeah, exactly.
I think for me, there's been a lot of stuff that's been on my sort of to-do list for quite some time with the show, obviously, like little things. And it's kind of like the same thing we were chatting a little bit about it, of like, having to rebuild assets and things to try to help smooth it out.
Yep.
And for me, it's building up those assets and things that can help streamline it more and make it kind of fun and enjoyable, maybe a little bit fresh, kind of just goofy from time to time. Because I do like, obviously, I'm not the most serious of people around. Like I'm constantly cracking jokes and trying to have fun with the segments that I make. But I think something like that, if I can start actually dedicating time to creating a lot of that for the show, that's what my big hope is. Same thing of like not getting burnout, because if I can do that, it gives us more to sort of lean on, and you put the work up front. So that way, if things get tough for whatever reason, you kind of have that to fall back on.
Yeah.
I think that's my thing. Cause I'm always wanting to, cause obviously mine's my top down view is, it has changed. Obviously it has changed a little bit, but I would like to do more to help the show be a little bit different or feel different or unique from time to time. Even just per segment would be kind of nice. Things like that, I think, just for, again, just to make it not feel repetitive.
Yeah.
Because that's my biggest goal, I think, and things that I would like to see.
Kat, you got anything? You don't have to.
More memes?
Did you step away again? I have to check the thing.
No, I didn't. Not this time. But for me, just keep doing what I'm doing. Get better at my job.
Hell yeah!
More memes. I got
more
you.
memes.
More memes. I'm here for it, Cats.
That is part of getting better at your job.
More camp, more memes, guys.
That is part of getting better at that.
More camp while bringing you the same good information. All of the same information, less calories.
Exactly.
Same great taste.
Same great taste.
FNC 0 calorie.
FNC 0.
Wow.
Look, as the resident diabetic here, that's funny, okay?
New
That's hilarious.
Is this going to be like one of those new FNC moments? It's like they took my FNC away. New Coke.
Oh my god.
Have to go back to the old recipe.
Oh.
Well, no one seemed to like that. I guess we're not doing that anymore.
Right.
Go all the way back to Provisional Nerf News Network.
Crystal FNC. We'll see how long it lasts. see if it lasts
see
longer.
if people are trading yellowed bottles of it on eBay in 20 years.
Yeah, exactly.
So, cryptocurrency win is what I'm hearing.
FNC coin. Oh my god. Get your collectible FNC cryptocurrency.
What have I done?
Cryptocurrency NFT launch, like, at the same time.
NFT launch. one of KT's reaction faces as an NFT.
Great. Yeah, great.
Perfect.
You'll be immortalized forever.
It'll be immortalized. It'll be worth.
Perfect.
It'll be worth so much money. It'll go right to the moon.
I'm sure. Yeah.
KT's face will become the most collectible part of FNC.
I think if anything, that's actually ironic. Thinking about it though, KT's face has been seen more times than anyone else's because he's on every thumbnail, and the impressions alone count. He's probably been seen millions of times at this point.
I had a horrific realization recently in a conversation that we were having, which I'll share with the audience. I've been a musician for a very long time. I've written a lot of music. I've had some music that's been listened to quite a bit. I was just looking at my band I was in, the Glowing Stars. I was looking at our all-time listening records on Bandcamp, and our first record had like 12,000 song listens. So like each individual song was not even listened to that many times, but like pretty good for a fledgling band like we were at the time, right? No music that I have ever written has been listened to as much as the opening theme to this show.
It's ironic
Easy.
because
Easy.
none of these songs were even written for the show. You were literally just like, I got all this music, Grim, go pick them, and I just picked like 4. I was like, these sound good.
We can use original music. Like any of these sound good, and you just picked some out. And we eventually added the 5th one when we did. You picked 5, and we added the 6th.
Yeah,
one.
we added the 6th one.
Yeah. And
yeah,
when we did half lengths.
OST was random blind pick, and the intro was created because new DaVinci update.
Yep.
More later at 7.
Yep. Exactly. So
We are very professional here, if you can't tell.
Yeah. But yeah, for anyone that hasn't checked it out, maybe I'll link this again. But I do have a playlist on my YouTube of called FNC OST. Because all those songs
I didn't
have
even
their
know
own
you
little...
had that there.
I did.
Yeah, all their...
Yeah, I didn't even know you had the playlist
we
already
should
set
link
up.
that on this episode.
We really should. Yeah, we really should.
All of the songs have their own little videos. They were part of Weekly Beats in 2020, I want to say, where I was working on a track every week. I mean, it must have been 2020. I was working on a track every week. And I was learning to use. Oh, is it on my desk? Is it on my desk? No.
So the real question is, when are you going to upload FNC OST EP on Bandcamp?
I know I should. The reason I haven't is because I keep thinking I'm gonna go back and remix all the tracks and like really dial them in for the way that we're using them. I'm not doing that. That's not actually happening. Oh, you know what? Actually, here's part of the reason. I'm going to edit it right now because it's actually still called PNNN Season 1 OST.
I just realized that same time. I was like, it's called Season 1 OST, so it has the 6, yeah. Ghost Spheres, Terrain Tide, Iceberg, Lotus Prime Picky, Render Bundle, Nurse Cap. I remember these.
I am...
Time to upload it to your Bandcamp. and we'll link that on down in the description, everybody. Go buy your FNC OST from KT's Bandcamp.
I should just upload it as is, or just like kind of run it as a little mastering thing. I am changing the name of the playlist, so when we link it, it will.
That reminds me of the time that I went back and checked and saw our YouTube playlist was still listed in the description as PNNN. And mentioned Jolt was still part of the podcast and a bunch of other stuff, details that were no longer accurate. And I was just like, wow, this has not been
so many stupid little things to keep track of. Like, if you change anything, you have to check like 50
Every
different
place.
places and make every single one is updated. It is
thumbnails and images and
this one's a fun fact. Our About Us section has been viewed quite a lot, but we have never had a About the Channel description, and I have just never uploaded one at this point on the principle that it has been 3 years and we haven't had one. So it was just like, at this point, I'm going to keep it going. Keep it going. It works. It works. We don't need one.
Seems to be the case. I don't know how much of an impact that has. I do know, like, we never made like a channel trailer. That's probably fine. I feel like the episodes speak for themselves better than like a trailer would, you know, like if the most recent episode is up there, that's always relevant and new. If we had recorded a trailer in season 1, we would have had to redo it every single year.
Yeah.
If not more often than that. So
okay, the more info section of the channel, which normally would have a description, has been viewed 384,000 times.
I mean, what is it? This is the other thing, is we're all like, we've never been a channel that's like obsessed with our metrics, but looking at them has been very relevant. Like it does help us make directional choices, but like, what does that metric mean? What is it counting as a view? You know what I mean? Like what? Because it's like, whenever you see views on a video, we've always been more interested in the quality of our views. So like, if we get I mean, we're usually anywhere between 3,000 and 7,000 views on an episode, and it just depends on all kinds. Like, it seems like it depends on all kinds of stuff.
It's primarily the returning subscribers is the important thing, and like people actually watching the content, which I think we've managed to succeed with, considering we have about, I think it's on average about 50 to 60% of the people are subscribed that watch the videos.
Which is on YouTube, that's bonkers numbers. Like, usually you're subscribed. Like, so many YouTubers are always saying in their videos, like, I can see that only 5% of you are subscribed. And it's like, that's just not our situation. It's never been that.
I think we've had some videos that had like 8,000 views or so on them, and we had a 40% of the viewers are 40% of the video was subscribed, which is around, give or take, 3,000 of our 4,000. Almost all but 1,000 of our subscribers watching it, which is insane.
Yeah, it's crazy to see how consistent and how much people return for information. It's impressive.
Yes,
and it really speaks on how much, you know, obviously what started from Jang and then later branched off to Michelle and Addie, obviously taking over. I'm primarily Addie, obviously, as the main face of it, but like the fact that it kind of was really important for the hobby to have some place to consolidate a lot of information like this is important.
Yeah.
And even though it's not like, we're never going to be massive numbers, right? We're not talking about like review. We're not a big channel for sort of just clicks. It's a informational video, which normally metric wise don't ever do like incredible, but it's really, again, it just kind of says a lot about how important it is to try to keep something like this going as long as we can. And it's, you know, we've said it on numerous occasions. It's not something that's going to make a ton of money. It's not something that's really there to do that with. It's more of, it's something nice that we can do for this. It keeps, I normally didn't, out of my own sense, ever like look that heavy into the hobby. When I'm interested in something, I go and just do some quick research and then I just move on.
Right.
But the news channels, like when I stumbled on Foam Blasts and Twin, that was actually very nice because it consolidated so much for me so quickly. And like, that is something that I never thought like, wow, I didn't know I would be a part of it. And then now looking at it, I'm like, I know a lot what's going in this hobby because of what I do for FNC. And I would probably not know if I wasn't doing this.
100%.
It's been incredible to see.
Yeah. And I guess with me, it's always been, I've always been the guy who dives really deep into the stuff that I'm into. So I would dive deep and then I would find the news, even though I was not particularly a super storied modder by the time I was watching Jang's channel, for example. But I would then dive further than that and go to the forums, look everywhere, look into the history of other stuff. And I was always doing that to begin with. And then that naturally continued when Twin happened. And then when it was gone, it was just kind of like one of those. I mean, I already dig deep, but man, it feels really quiet now. And I'm glad that we can do something, because I know there are more people like me, more people like you, more people like all of us. I mean, we get this in the comments all the time. That's like, this is where I get my information from. And I'm just glad that we can provide that for any and all people in the hobby, really, just a one-stop place to get all of the consolidated information of anything that we are aware of that released. And we do try to get basically everything that we can in a week.
It is a chore to try and get it right, too. I really wish people like understood that there is a lot of information to comb through when you're researching a segment or you're researching a topic.
And every time you miss something, it feels bad.
Yeah, it feels really bad. Like when you get it, you get a creator wrong or a name wrong or a one piece of information out of it. Or you miss a
story. We've missed
stories
that were like time sensitive. I mean, it's like if we miss a story that's like a blaster released, it's like it feels bad. I would have liked to have done it, but we can cover it in the next episode and it's fine usually. Like we're still getting that. Like sometimes it's better because they're getting a burst of attention like after the initial launch, which is already getting them a lot of attention. But there's always someone in the comments who's like, what about this thing? And it's like, yeah, we know, like, we're just busy.
It's I hate it when I think mine is when you miss a creator's thing, like the designers in the hobby.
Yeah.
Who, if they've released something and either it was posted just late or maybe somebody didn't notice it and it got posted. Because I remember you go across, like I'll be on printables for some reason and I see a new thing and I'm like, what's this? And it was like released 3 months ago and I'm like, I've never heard of this thing. And it's like, so like for us, it sucks because we're like, oh man, this would have been fantastic. I'm sure a lot of people would have loved to have heard about this or see this. And we'll try to cover it obviously, but it's nicer to strike kind of when the iron is hot.
Yeah.
And right when it like drops.
Yes.
But yeah, if it, if we miss it, it does feel pretty bad. And it sucks because, again, we try very hard to go down that information. And some information is really not set in stone. Sometimes the information is sort of hearsay or speculative or the websites are just splash pages that were copy pasted from something else. And we have to like really try to figure out what is, because we want to try to keep it as close to being correct as possible.
Yeah.
Obviously, we'll try to keep that regular. Like, oh, it speculated that this, just so that way it's not confirmed yet or whatever. And it's a chore. It's a big chore to do.
Flashbacks to like the 2 essay segment on the Harrier I had written way back when, and then we had to can it because of shoddy information sources.
Yeah.
It's so weird to think about all the like
because the script stuff used to be so much longer too.
Yeah. It's weird to think about all the like. We also, when we first started out, we didn't cover every single thing that came through. We try to at least mention everything now that feels mentionable.
We just didn't have the time back then. I remember we had told some people when they asked, we're just like, we didn't have the time. Nowadays, it's a matter of can we fit it in the episode in time, not oh, no, we can't do that. We don't have the time. We do definitely try because we now have half-links and all these other methods in our toolkit.
Right. That was a good point.
And now if I were to count sometimes in an episode, we might have an episode where we have 30 different things covered. They just might be small things and like a couple big things. But that's still an insane amount of stuff covered and tackled in one episode.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because we're covering everything from name brand stuff, obviously half-links, things from creators, events, law changes, layoffs for Hasbro.
And anything as small as a literal mag release to printables up to like legal law changes that affect the hobby.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. The gambit of things like we cover is quite wide. Actually, there's a lot of things that we go over, and it's kind of nice because that to me it makes doing the episodes interesting, because sometimes I have to look into an event that might be in Europe only, or I might have to look into this leak that was found on a South American toy website or something weird like that.
Stuff that we absolutely would hear someone mention on a Discord and go, huh, and just never think about again if we weren't making this show.
Yeah. And it would be something as simple as a screenshot, not even where it was located, like where did you find it, what website. Now we're actually getting a lot of people who are like, here's the link, here's a screenshot, here's the information. Like they'll put down quite a lot of information on there, which makes it way easier for us to obviously do that. Or at least it's kind of funny. It's almost like if you do it, the people that help out in the Discord who bring a lot of this stuff to us, they're almost trained now to like put the link on there for us. And it's been really nice, like it consolidate the thread stuff was also really nice to consolidate all of that. That was actually a good, it's still not the best, but it's still way better than what we used to have.
Yeah. Let's we should end, but really quickly, I just want to shout some people out. I'm going to start with Axel. Axel has been a stalwart moderator. Axel's been on this podcast one time, and it was kind of funny because we were, it was the episode with Zelkos, right?
I think so. Yeah, I believe I was gone for that one. Yeah,
yes. And Axel came on as sort of an additional host rather than as a guest. And so at some point, when I do an episode, I got to bring Axel on as a guest and get into Axel's history. But they're amazing. Absolutely amazing. Been modding the Discord forever and doing so much behind the scenes work to keep us moving, and is all often the one taking the load off of us to like manage Discord stuff that comes up while we're trying to build the episode. Banshee as well has been a mod on the Discord and has been more and less available at various times, but like is always there when something goes down to jump in and help. And then it's always wild to me, some of the people who are so dedicated to bringing stories to us. And we will miss people who should be mentioned here, but like Chicken Master 99.
Yeah, I was about to say that's the first one.
For so long, the leaks, and I know that like the work situation changed there, and that's not a thing anymore. But like some of our biggest episodes are like in terms of their views and stuff are a direct result of Chicken Master's material and work. And so huge thank you for that. General Strife, who we mentioned earlier, has sort of taken up the mantle of just like digging and constantly keeping an eye on like when new products are released, and has legitimately broken the news about new products so many times this year in particular.
I don't know how General finds that stuff in some of these websites. It's
I dig deep and I can't even find this stuff, man.
Yeah. I have tried. Yeah, I have tried on a couple of occasions to try to see if I can dig through and find it. And I'm just like, where did you find this website? What is this? And it's like distribution websites out of, again, like South America or something.
This is like stuff I used to get up to back in like 2017 that I no longer remember how I did. Like that one time I found out. This is actually a really funny one. I was the person who broke the news on the Modulus Long Strike because I found it on Nerf Perk. So if anyone remembers, there was a site called Nerf Perks, and if there was like there was a QR code on the bottom of your blaster box, and you could redeem them for Nerf points and then get stuff for Nerf points. And on the site,
Nerf Perks,
they listed a thing that said Modulus Long Strike, and it had no image. And then I passed it along to Jang, who was at the time running the news. And then later an image got uploaded, and that was the way it got found out early.
That's so funny.
Because I used to go by a different name, and I would just post stuff that I had found in the comment section and This Week in Nerf.
Wait, no, why is this broken? No, stop. No, Google Drive. Okay, I think
I think all of my comments are gone though, because that was on my old like middle school account that had a
here?
school email, so all of the channel and all the comments respectively got wiped.
Why can
when
I suddenly not
that
open
ended.
stuff in Google Drive? I'm pretty sure
That's
that the episode 41 is the Zelkos episode. It's the episode we're talking about. I'm pretty sure that's the episode that I asked about nerf perks. But I can't open the file because it's messed up for some reason.
Let me try on my end. 41, you said?
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
now I can open it. I don't know what happened. Okay.
Yes,
Yes.
that is-
Yes.
that is the
We
correct
asked
episode.
Zelkos about nerf perks.
That's
Oh,
funny.
holy. That would have been like the that would have been awesome to read the
As
comments
Nerf
on.
Perks rewards started shipping out in early 2016, the first... Here, let's play the trivia game real quick, but I'm just going to do questions that have already appeared. As Nerf Perks
Okay.
rewards started shipping out in early 2016, the first 800 members to order rewards received an unusual and unexpected inclusion. Was it A, a copy of the Ultimate Nerf Blaster book by Nathaniel Marunas, B, a 25th anniversary poster featuring Jyn Erso from Star Wars Rogue One, or C, a box of Quaker Chewy Girl Scouts Thin Mint granola bars?
Oh.
Oh, that is.
You said odd, so I'm gonna say it's not A. I
Yeah,
know they
that
did
sounds
Jin.
a little
I know.
too-
I know
Like,
they
A
did.
sounds too normal.
I know they
too
did Jin
legitimate.
Urso stuff, but I don't think that was 2017. I think that was like 18, 19, somewhere when like the Rogue One stuff. I'm gonna guess C, just because I think that Star Wars stuff came out later. I think, or maybe earlier. Maybe I'm just misremembering this. I don't know. I think C sounds the most accurate. Question mark.
I'm also gonna sound C because that is really weird.
It is also just really out there.
All right. Yes, it was C.
Ooh,
And
yay!
the way that I found this information was I found a video of Luke from Out of Darts in 2016 that started with him eating one of the granola bars. It was just him sitting in
amazing.
front of the camera eating one of the granola bars. In 2016, buying a Strife would earn you 250 Nerf Perks points, and spending 800 Nerf Perks points would earn you a translucent green Jolt. At the same time, how many points would you need to spend to get a Mega Mastodon? Was it 8,000 points, 12,000 points, or 24,000 points?
Say that again.
You earn 250 perks points for buying one Strife. You can get a translucent green Jolt by spending 800 points. So that is 3.2 Jolts, or 3.2 Strifes. If you buy
Okay.
3.2 Strifes, you can get one Jolt.
What were the brackets? So,
So
for
how many
Mastodon?
for Mega Mastodon? 8,000, 12,000, or 24,000?
I want to say. Oh, I think it was 24,000 based on the numbers that I. Or,
I feel like a
24 sounds
Mastodon would-
right.
Would have been worth more than 10 jolts.
24 or 12. I think 24 sounds more correct because
So
30 jolts definitely sounds more reasonable.
So 8,000 points. 8,000 points is 32 Jolts.
This is-
12,000 points is 48 Jolts, and 24,000 points is more Jolts.
Wait,
Twice as many Jolts.
it's 800 points for a jolt, right?
800
8,000
points for a
points.
Jolt. So this is essentially
Wouldn't that be 10?
it would be 10. Yeah, it's basically 10 Jolts. Basically, if it's 8,000, you're saying 10 Jolts equals one Mastodon.
no.
Yeah, that doesn't sound right in my head.
Okay, you know what,
could
let-
either get 10 jolts or a Mastodon. That doesn't sound like a
10 jolts or a Mastodon.
good comparison.
I mean, 24 and 24
Imagine
on
you're-
second thought is
imagine-
way too high. Actually,
It's one of those scenes where like someone's about to go to a duel and the person's like, "Which weapon would you like to fight
Yeah.
your duel?
10
Do you want
jolt
10 Jolts or a
Or a
Mastodon?"
Mastodon.
I remember the like points were a lot, but I don't think it was 24,000 a lot. I guess so. That leaves 12,000 or 8,000. I'm just gonna
I
go
don't
with
think-
8,000. I'm just gonna go with 8,000, man.
I'm thinking it wasn't as low as 8,000, so I'm gonna say 12.
Vile, you want to guess?
Oh, I remember this episode, and I remember looking at this, and I'm trying to remember if it was. I think it was 12. I'm gonna go with 12.
Okay, it was 8.
It was 8. Okay.
Yep.
Oh, last minute decision saved me. Let's go.
It's I don't know. I think it's just
I thought that
It's
wasn't
been
enough.
a while for me, so I couldn't remember.
I mean,
what the
again,
I'm
actual
just
answer
trying to
was.
remember based off of what I remember off the site.
again. This is buying 32 stripes.
Stripes.
Nobody's buying 32 stripes, right? Like it is still very unachievable.
That's what you think.
Well, nobody's buying 32 brand new stripes in 2016. That's more what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Understandable.
I
yeah.
probably have 32 stripes.
only
I
if you-
recognize that.
I think the
I
only person who
have
probably
32.
could was like Drac when they did like $4 Strife Tuesday
Right.
or whatever at like Walmart that one time, and he walked away with like a crap load of them that like stacked up to the ceiling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Here's the last question. In a 2016 Nerf Perks spot, a delivery driver is seen bringing Nerf Perks boxes to kids on a suburban street, then making a getaway as darts pelt his windshield. In which of the following 2018 films did the same delivery driver actor appear? Was it A, Ready Player One, B, Super Troopers 2, or C, Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom?
Oh, this is 2016. So
I
I think
I've only
Ready
watched
Player
one
One
of those
came out.
movies, and
I
it was
think
a while ago.
I haven't seen Ready Player One, but I think that one came out in like 2016. So it probably wouldn't.
I'm pretty sure. Wait. I'm pretty sure I was truthful about. Like I described them. It was a long time ago now, but I described them all. They are all. Was I? Oh yes, I was truthful about the release dates of all the movies. They were all 2018 movies.
All 2018. All 2018. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So they all came
So
out in
this
the
was
same
2
year.
years after the release of the Nerf Perks ad.
So
Maybe the ad was recorded like a year before that.
okay.
But all 3 of these movies are 2018 movies.
I haven't seen Ready Player One. I actually have. I think I've only seen the Jurassic World one. I don't. I vaguely. I can. God, I can kind of vaguely picture the guy because I know which ad you're talking about. I don't.
I don't
That leaves
expect
either Ready
anybody to
Player
know.
One or-
This was the obviously anyone who listens to the show knows that one of the questions is the off the wall question. This is the off the wall question, obviously.
You,
I don't
you
expect
did
anybody to know it.
You did C for the last one. You did A for the first one. I'm going B. Strictly on the fact I haven't seen the other two, and
Yes.
I don't remember in any of the promotional material from Ready Player One a guy that looked like the delivery driver.
You are correct. It is B. It is Super
Yo!
Troopers 2. I don't remember.
I had no idea.
I don't
there.
remember what his role is. He's a classically trained theater actor. When I was researching this question, I found his IMDb and his backstage and all of his like profiles. I will continue to not use his name in the podcast, so nobody goes and hassles him. But yep, it's the same guy. I think I haven't found any movie credits after that. I think he went back to stage acting.
Okay.
So, yep. And that's the kind of research I no longer have to do for this podcast. This is where I'm going to get my life back. Anyway, we got to end. I got to go to bed. It's 1 a.m.
Yeah.
So, again, listeners, thank you for listening. Thank you for your stalwart support of what we do here. Speaking on behalf of the podcast, the show is not going anywhere, obviously.
Yeah.
The podcast, it will be back. We'll do more of these at some point, but it won't be a consistent
Eventually.
thing. I mean, I'm pretty confident that we're going to, I shouldn't promise anything, but I'm fairly confident I'll be back. We'll do another pod at some point. But for the moment, I need at least a break. And not to put trivia together every 2 weeks. I'll be on at least the next couple episodes in some capacity. And I'll be back there again in the future. I'm pretty confident. Ultimately, it's up to y'all. It's not really up to me.
Well, I mean, the door is always open. It's not, like I'm never gonna say no to you coming back.
Exactly. Exactly.
Cool.
You're a founding member. Door's always open, man.
Producer emeritus,
Yeah.
we can call it.
Exactly.
But I'm happy to be leaving it in all of y'all's capable hands, and I'm excited to see where the show goes. I will be watching, and I'll be in the Discord, and I'll be available for whatever I'm able to help with if you need stuff. But with that, I guess I'm for the podcast. At least I'm signing off for the time being. Thank everybody for listening. Thank y'all for chatting with me today. Thank you, Cats, for all your work. Thanks for being a guest and or host today.
Thanks for having me.
I'll catch y'all not on the podcast in 2 weeks.
Before we end, I want to say one thing really quickly.
Oh, please hit me.
Happy birthday, Vile.
Ah, damn it, you're right. It was yesterday. Everybody always tries to tell me happy birthday on my streams when it's not my actual stream. Or on my actual birthday, I should say.
Oh, God damn. Wait, hold on. Was it yesterday? Wait.
Yesterday was my birthday.
It was the 3rd. It's the 3rd.
It was the 3rd, yes.
It's the 3rd. Yeah. That's 2 days ago.
We're recording on the 4th.
Because it's 1 in the morning.
Yeah. So it would be 2 days ago for you now. But yes.
I can't believe I missed it.
It's fine. There's actually, real quick, a really good friend that's on a lot of the streams and stuff over on Twitch, known as Zombody, actually did a whole animation for me. They did they do drawings and little like VTubers and stuff. They did a full animation. They reached out to a bunch of other friends of ours that are on Twitch and things like that.
That's
amazing. And got a bunch of notes for me for a really nice birthday.
What the heck?
Well, it's mostly from people that were on Twitch, and obviously I know since your schedule's busy, you haven't been on. But yeah, there was like 8 or 9 people that were on that list that had written really nice things to me. It was really lovely. So yeah.
Well, happy belated birthday, Vile.
Thank you.
Also, happy
belated birthday, Vile.
Happy birthday right now, also.
God damn you all. Damn you.
It's always
Vile's
No, it's not. How dare you.
Exclamation birthday in the chat. Exclamation birthday in the comments. Or no, it's just exclamation birth. Exclamation birth. For anyone who hasn't been hanging out in Vile streams, when I'm there, I have an audio command from one day that we recorded podcast on. Or no, wait. Yeah.
Yeah,
one day
was.
When we recorded. Wait, no, but why does it say
was going
it's
to be my birthday on the stream. And
yes.
I said, yes, it is my birthday stream.
That's
and
right.
you will come in and it'll be me, my own voice saying, it is my birthday stream. When other people are telling me happy birthday, you bastard.
It's incredible.
Every time.
So you can check that out next time we're streaming. Anyway, I gotta go to bed. I have to go to work tomorrow. We have to finish the episode.
Yep.
I have to record my one story that I'm doing in the morning. So, and I'll send that off.
And the teaser.
But it looks like Grimz is already recorded. Okay, whatever. Yeah, and the teaser. Yes. All right. Whatever. Good episode. Thanks, everybody. Signing
Good night.
off. Good night.
Good night.
See ya.